Hello, my name is Amanda, and welcome back to Unlocking Scripture with Amanda. Today we'll continue our Bible study lesson with Genesis chapter 41. So grab your Bible. Also have pen and paper to write down notes when I stress important points or bring something up that you weren't aware of. Okay, and let's begin. Genesis 41. The two dreams of Pharaoh. And it came to pass at the end of 2 full years that Pharaoh dreamed, and behold, he stood by the river. And behold, there came up out of the river, this is his dream, he stood by the river, and behold, there came up out of the river 7 well-favored kine, and fat-fleshed, and they fed in a meadow. So these are healthy cows. Okay. 3. And behold, 7 other kine came up after them out of the river, ill-favored and unfleshed, and stood by the other kine upon the brink of the river. And the ill-favored and lean-fleshed kine did eat up the 7 well-favored and fat kine. So Pharaoh awakened. So this is saying that, I know, so this is saying the cows, they had fat, fleshed, healthy cows. And then there were cows that looked like they were, what's the word I'm looking for? Not healthy. Let's say
scrawny and thin.
Scrawny and thin. Yeah, not healthy. So the not healthy cows, they ate up the healthy cows, is what this is saying. And then he woke up. All right, 5. And he slept and dreamed the second time. And behold, 7 ears of corn came up from one stalk. Wow. Rank and good. So 7 ears came up and they were good. And behold, 7 thin ears, and blasting with the east winds sprung up after them. So they were thin. They weren't full and good. Okay. And the 7 thin ears devoured the 7 rank and full ears. Right. And Pharaoh awakened, and behold, it was a dream. So he dreamed about cows, healthy cows, unhealthy cows, thick, healthy corn and unhealthy corn. The unhealthy corn ate up the healthy. The unhealthy cows ate up the healthy one. 2 dreams. Woke up. Now we're at 8. And it came to pass in the morning that his spirit was troubled, and he sent and called for all the magicians of Egypt and all the wise men thereof. And Pharaoh told them his dream, but there was none that could interpret them unto Pharaoh. Okay, verse 9. Then spoke the chief butler unto Pharaoh, saying, so it's been 2 years, and now he's having this dream. So that means Joseph is still in the prison. Then spoke the chief butler unto Pharaoh, saying, I do remember my fault this day. Darn, I remember. Now I remember what I was supposed to remember. Pharaoh was wroth with his servants and put me, he's telling the story, Pharaoh was wroth with his servant, me, and put me in ward in the captain of the guard's house, both me and the chief baker. And we dreamed a dream in one night, I and he, the same night. And we dreamed each man according to the interpretation of his dream. And there was there with us a young man, a Hebrew, servant to the captain of the guard. And we told him, and he interpreted to us our dream. To each man according to his dream, he did interpret. And it came to pass, as he interpreted to us, so it was. Me he restored unto mine office, and him he hanged. Then Pharaoh sent and called Joseph, and they brought him hastily out of the dungeon. And he shaved himself and changed his raiment and came in unto Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I have dreamed a dream, and there is none that can interpret it. And I have heard say of thee that thou canst understand a dream to interpret it. I heard about your gift of interpreting dreams. 16. And Joseph answered Pharaoh, saying, it is not in me. God shall give Pharaoh an answer of peace. So he's not taking the glory of being able to interpret dreams. He said it's God. He's giving it to God. He's giving the praise to God for that. All right, 17. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, in my dream, behold, tell him the dream again. Behold, I stood upon the bank of a river, and behold, there came up out of the river 7 kine, fast-fleshed and well-favored, 7 of them. And they fed in a meadow. And behold, 7 other kine came up after them, poor and very ill-favored and lean-fleshed, such as I never saw in all the land of Egypt for badness. And the lean and the ill-favored kine did eat up the first 7 fat kind. So the little lean, ill-favored one ate up the healthy ones. 21. And when they had eaten them up, it could not be known that they had eaten them, but they were still ill-favored as at the beginning. So I woke up. So he said, even though they ate the fat ones, they still were skinny, lean, and ill-favored. Okay. 22. And I saw in my dream, and behold, 7 ears came up in one stock, full and good. And behold, 7 ears withered thin and blasted with the east wind sprung up after them. And the thin ears devoured the 7 good ears. And I told this unto the magicians, and there was none that could declare it to me. 25. And Joseph said unto Pharaoh, the dream of Pharaoh is one dream, he's saying, is one. God has shown Pharaoh what he is about to do in 2 different ways, but it means one thing. 26. The 7 good kind are 7 years. And the 7 good ears are 7 years. The dream is one. So each one of them represent the same thing. And the 7 thin and ill-favored kind that came up after them are 7 years. And the 7 empty ears blast with the east wind shall be 7 years of famine. This is the thing which I have spoken unto Pharaoh. What God is about to do, he showeth unto Pharaoh. So he's telling him, God is showing you, Pharaoh, what he's about to do. 29. Behold, there came 7 years of great plenty. There come 7 years of great plenty throughout all the land of Egypt. And there shall arise after them 7 years of famine. And all the plenty shall be forgotten in the land of Egypt, and the famine shall consume the land. So the 7 years of famine are going to be so bad that people are going to forget about the 7 good years. 31. And the plenty shall not be known in the land by reason of the famine following, for it shall be very grievous. Exactly what I just said. And for that the dream was doubled unto Pharaoh twice. It is because the thing is established by God. Said it was doubled because it was established by God, and God will shortly bring it to pass. Now, therefore, let Pharaoh look out a man discreet and wise. So he say, look for a man that's discreet and wise, and set him over the land of Egypt. So he's directing Pharaoh to appoint a wise administrator. Okay. Someone, like he said, someone who is wise and discreet. That's 33, 34. Let Pharaoh do this, and let him appoint officers over the land, and take up the 5th part of the land of Egypt in the 7 plenteous years. So Joseph is stepping in, and he's telling Pharaoh how to take care of this situation that's going to come up. Okay. And let them gather all the food of those good years that came, and lay up the corn under the hand of Pharaoh, and let them keep food in the cities. And that food shall be for store to the land against the 7 years of famine. So store it up, because you know you got 7 years of famine coming. 36 again. And that food shall be for store to the land against the 7 years of famine, which shall be in the land of Egypt, that the land perish not through the famine. 37. And the thing was good in the eyes of Pharaoh. So Pharaoh loved the idea that Joseph came up with. Okay. And the thing was good in the eyes of Pharaoh and in the eyes of all his servants. So they all agreed, ooh, let's do this. Sounds great. Sound like it's going to work out. 38. And Pharaoh said unto his servants, can we find such a man as this is, a man in whom the Spirit of God is? It's talking about Joseph. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, for as much as God has shown thee all this, there is none so discreet and wise as thou art. So he's saying, you wanted me to appoint a discreet and wise man, but there's no one more discreet and wiser than you. 40. Thou shalt be over my house, and according to thy word shall all my people be ruled. Only in the throne will I be greater than thou. So because of this, Pharaoh has decided to make Joseph second in charge over the entire land of Egypt. There's nobody greater than Joseph except the Pharaoh. Okay. 40. Thou shalt, that was 40. 41. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, see, I have set thee over all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh took off his ring from his hand and put it upon Joseph's hand. That's his signet ring, okay, upon his hand, and arrayed him in vestures of fine linen, and put a gold chain about his neck. Whew. Joseph just moved up, okay. 43. And he made him to ride in the second chariot which he had. And they cried before him, bow the knee. And he made him ruler over all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I am Pharaoh, and without thee shall no man lift up his hand or foot in all the land of Egypt. So everything got to go through Joseph. And Pharaoh called Joseph's name, all right, look at that name, Zenaphaniah, and he gave him to wife Asenath, okay, the daughter of Potipharah, priest of On. So the priest of On, that is the daughter that was given to Joseph for a wife. And Joseph went out over all the land of Egypt. So he done moved on up. Now he has a wife. Wow. Okay. 46.
Well, what does that name mean that Pharaoh gave to him?
Oh, the new name that he gave to him. You want me to try to say that name again?
No, what does that mean?
It means Zaphnaphaniah, means treasury of the glorious rest. Okay. All right. 46. The 7 years of plenty. Here we go. And Joseph was 30 years old when he stood before Pharaoh of Egypt. And Joseph went out from the presence of Pharaoh and went throughout all the land of Egypt. And in the 7 plenteous years, the earth brought forth by handfuls. And he gathered up all the food of the 7 years which were in the land of Egypt, and laid up the food in the cities, the food of the field which was round about the city, laid he up in the same way. And Joseph gathered corn as the sand of the sea, very much, until he left numbering, for it was without number. 50. And unto Joseph were born 2 sons before the years of famine came, which Asenath, the daughter of Potipharah, priest of On, bared unto him. And Joseph called the name of his firstborn Manasseh, for God said, he has made me forget all my toil and all my father's house. Okay, so Manasseh means to forget. 52. And the name of the second called he Ephraim, for God has caused me to be fruitful. Definitely so. All right. And Ephraim means doubly fruitful. For God has called me to be fruitful in the land of my affliction. What a blessing. In the land of your oppression and your affliction, you're still on top. You're still covered. You're still blessed. You still have all you need and more. All right, 53. I'm going to move on to 53. The 7 years of famine begin. So now Joseph got a wife. He's second in charge. He's on top. Now it's time for the famine to begin. And the 7 years of plenteousness that was in the land of Egypt were ended. And the 7 years of dearth, which means famine, began to come according as Joseph had said. And the dearth was in all the land. So it was all about, not just in Egypt, everywhere. But in all the land of Egypt, there was bread. So everywhere there was famine, but in Egypt, they had food because of Joseph's plan. 55. And when all the land of Egypt was famished, the people cried to Pharaoh for bread. And Pharaoh said unto all the Egyptians, go unto Joseph, what he says to do, do. And the famine was over all the face of the earth. And Joseph opened all the storehouses and sold unto the Egyptians. And the famine waxed sore in the land of Egypt. So be aware that he didn't just give the food out, he sold the food to them, which made Pharaoh wealthy. So that was definitely a great plan in Pharaoh's eyes that Joseph came up with. It took care of the people's needs, but it also made him wealthy. Okay. 57. And all the countries came unto Egypt. So everybody else came unto Egypt for, to Joseph for to buy corn. So all these people are giving money to the Pharaoh for this corn, because that the famine was so sore in all the land. Now, something I want to bring to your attention is that you see that Joseph, no matter what his situation was, he was blessed by God, right? So he was elevated from the pit to the palace now. So what is that saying? If God be for you, that they say, nobody can come against you. Nothing they can do. Okay. Also note that the situation that Joseph was in, if you look at it, it was preparing him for the role of being in second in charge of Egypt, because he was put in charge when he was first in Potiphar's house. When the wife was chasing after him, he was in charge of all the house. So he had to learn how to manage that. After that, he managed the prison. So he was gaining skills, even though he was in a dire situation. He was being prepared to be the second in charge of Egypt. So I thought that was very interesting, that those small leadership roles prepared him to be the leader of an entire nation. Okay. Well, that will end Genesis chapter 41. I hope you pick something up, and I look forward to seeing you for Genesis chapter 42. Until next time, have a wonderful and blessed day, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Bye.